Caution is out.
You're good. Got space.
I really think this is a product of, we talked about the shade. I think the track cooling down is creating some of this for these guys. Their tires are cooler. The track surface is cooler. I think it's just taking more time to get grip in these tires.
As Regan Smith showed us, the track surface has dropped 15 degrees.
By half. Half a lane lower. Inside now. Inside. Wrecked behind you. All good.
Happened so fast.
And he was loose before he ran into him. I mean, that's the reason that there was contact, was Joey had to chase the car up there. Then he just ran out of room and it turned it around the rest of the way.
Honestly, much like what I think that I saw with Chase Briscoe and A.J. Allmendinger. I think Chase got loose before we saw the contact, the retaliation with Allmendinger. He got loose, got into the side of him. Wasn't meaning to, but he did. And unfortunately got some retaliation. Joey stayed off of him and spun it out.
And let's check with Jamie.
And Bubba Wallace, second fastest, just like Truex. A little bit different than last year. What you guys focus on? What's the difference?
We've had a year to work on this thing and a year to forget about it in the first race here at the Clash. But our team did a great job learning everything we had last year. We're picking up right where we left off, which is, I thought that was a big goal for us to start the season off how we ended last year. And proud of everybody. Our DoorDash Toyota Camry TRD is P2. It's a little bit shy at P1. That's all right. We'll save that for hopefully later and get us a good run. But just proud of the efforts, and let's keep going.
All right, they're going to be tough to beat. Qualifying coming up at 5:30.
Thanks, Jamie. And with this track continuing to cool, it's going to require a bit different setup than what we saw for those fastest laps of the day. A further update on Ty Gibbs. You saw his car catch fire earlier. We have seen still photographs after the door skin was removed, and the impact absorbing foam that NASCAR requires on the right side of the cars behind the sheet metal, but outboard of the roll cage. That is what produced those flames that we saw. So that's a live shot as the team gets ready for qualifying, and our man Bob Pockris, there's Bob on the scene and getting us those pictures and reports. Back on track, 4.5 minutes to go in this final round, final group of practice.
It's amazing, you know, spinning out. Joey Logano spins out and really didn't slow him down a bit.
But as with the prior group, nobody has made a dent in the times from the earlier sessions when the track surface was warmer.
And they do have 2 heat cycles on the tires. They're getting a lot of laps on the tires. So now the racetrack has come in. I don't know that it was going to continue to just get faster and faster once they got through that first round and a half, I'd say. But now with all the laps on the tires and it cooling off, now we're going to go the other way. But this is important. This is what these teams need for a read to get ready for qualifying, on understanding what do they need to do air pressure wise, what do the drivers need to do when they get on the racetrack to try to get heat in these tires to get as much grip as they can.
Tyler Reddick in the 45 was one of the stars of the show here last year in the Coliseum. And with Kevin Harvick pulling down on Christopher Bell.
You heard his crew chief Rodney Childers say how happy Kevin was with the balance of his car. Speed is definitely there. When that driver's happy, especially a longtime veteran champion driver like Kevin Harvick, you get that man happy in a race car, look out. Makes you want to be out there, doesn't it, Tony?
I'll be honest, it actually does. I mean, this is when we were here last year and I watched the first practice session. I like what I'm doing now, but this is one of the places that I would love to have the opportunity to come run this race. It just looks fun.
Well, it's a track. Hey, I'm going to tell you, as a driver, you want to feel like you did something in that car. You made the difference. You found something different that somebody else didn't. You hit a line right. You made a move at the right time. And these short tracks, like we all grew up doing, you have a lot to do with what happens.
Well, the great thing that you're not going to hear us talk about, we're not going to talk about aero push. We're not going to talk about track position. You might hear us talk about, but it's not going to be because of aero. And that's something that, to your point, we want to know as drivers, we are in control of our destiny, not air that we can't control.
Stay on that track position. Even that, you manage track position. And
yes,
quite honestly, the one that wins this race is going to be the one that manages that track position the best. The one that can get through there faster and more efficient than the next guy.
Fellas, qualifying is no longer a consideration. This has become a race practice. We have been seeing bump and run after bump and run after bump and run in these last 4 or 5 minutes here.
Well, I mean, that's what it takes. We knew that the window was going to close in. Everybody knows what it takes to get around these cars. They know the cars, they know the air pressures, they know everything about them. That window of opportunity really shrinks down, and when it does, it makes the lap times more even and the aggression's going to pick up.
And we're starting to see the dive bomb passes now when the opportunity presents into the corner.
The good thing, and for the most part, with the exception of one instance that we've seen today, everybody understands that that is going to be the norm for tomorrow. You're going to have contact. You're going to have people dive bombing. You need to know that this stuff is going to come and going to be a constant throughout the competition.
And chasing this racetrack, we're not only chasing a changing racetrack with rubber getting burnt into the racetrack. You know it's going to gain grip like that, but as it's cooling off, I think I see cars slipping and sliding around much more. The race itself is going to be later than it was last year. That's going to play a role in what these guys have had in their notebooks versus what they're going to see this year.
Kevin Harvick set his fastest lap of the day on his 76th lap, and that is later than any other driver in the top 20.
So watch it, up and out back. We'll do a cool down lap.
He is 11th overall. Martin Truex, who's fastest, did it on his 59th lap.